of here, boy. Get that weak shit out of here.
Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy, Brandy Boy, back at it again with another Fallout 4 video. And for this video, I'm going to be counting down my favorite handmade weapon mods. So what do I mean by handmade exactly? Basically, any weapon that looks like it's been put together with spare parts or raw materials. They don't have to be made with just duct tape and pipes though. I'll also include some more refined weapons, which look like they were crafted by experienced gunsmiths. So long as they weren't mass-produced in a factory by a pre-war company, then I'll count them toward this list. Makeshift or homemade weapons would make a fair amount of sense in an apocalyptic scenario. After 200 years, not everyone would be able to get their hands on pristine, old-world weapons, so they just might resort to making their own. Fallout 4 does attempt to implement this logic, but it is rather lacking. While there are some pipe guns, they are pretty weak and anything but pretty. There's so many things wrong with the vanilla pipe guns that I don't even know where to start. I could probably make a whole video ranting about it, but I digress. For now, I'll focus on adding in some great alternatives. If you're like me, and you absolutely despise the vanilla pipe guns, then these are the mods for you. So stick around, and let's get into it. So first, let's go ahead and replace those disgusting vanilla pipe guns with something a little less ugly. Nina's Proper Pipe Guns Replacer does just that. It introduces new meshes and textures for the vanilla pipe guns. Instead of looking like cartoonish pieces of wood and pipe mangled together, they instead look like realistic pieces of wood and pipe mangled together. So now they are way more immersive and a little more bearable to look at. Still not perfect, but definitely an improvement. But what about the handmade rifle from Nuka World? It's not too bad, but there's a couple issues. This handmade rifle is based on the AK platform, and it does come fairly close, but for some odd reason, the ejection port is on the left side. This is an odd design choice that Bethesda has done with many of their guns in Fallout 4, but we can fix it with a mod called Right-Handed Nuka World AK Replacer. It switches over the ejection port to the right side, and completely reanimates the gun with some high-quality animations. To enhance the rifle even further, you should also get the classic barrel and wooden stock for it, which are both separate mods. So, with all these mods, you can make the handmade rifle resemble its real-life counterpart more accurately. In turn, it shall raise your immersion level by about 100 points. Alright, now onto the mods which add in entirely new guns to the game. I've got 15 in total for you. First up is a mod called Post-Apocalyptic Homemade Weapons. This one adds in a bunch of cursed makeshift guns into the game. There's a rifle, bolt action, machine gun, revolver, and a 10mm pistol, all of which have a fair amount of customization. They follow a similar theme to the vanilla weapons, and they do use vanilla animations, so there's nothing too special here really, but if you're looking for some extra variety, then you might want to try this one out. Since these are handmade weapons, you can make them yourself at the chem station. They do require some interesting ingredients, including vodka and cigarettes, but I guess that makes sense because I would need to have a smoke and a drink after looking at these god-awful abominations. I only jest, of course. They do make for an immersive addition to the wasteland. There's even an optional file that'll release them into the leveled list, so you'll find NPCs using them. Or if you'd like, there's a different version of the mod, which completely replaces some of the vanilla guns. All links are in the description, of course. On to the next one. This fellow is called the Crude Blowback, which is actually based on concept art for Fallout 4. It's a shame that it didn't make the final cut, but thanks to modders, here it is. I would have much rather had this instead of the vanilla pipe rifle. It looks much better in my opinion. Relatively, of course. It's still ugly, but in a good way. The Crude Blowback comes with several attachments, which include conversion kits, magazines, sights, stocks, barrels, muzzles, and bayonets. There's also fitting animations, but they appear to be modified from the vanilla game, so while they do work fine for the regular magazine, the drum mag has your player's hand clipped through the mag. Other than that, this is a pretty cool weapon mod. I like its rusty and rugged aesthetic, especially with that blue tape. Also, you don't have to worry about finding this one. It'll spawn on NPCs and within containers early on in the game. If you really like that blue tape aesthetic, then you're in luck. Up next is the Handmade Revolver by the same author. Just like the Crude Blowback, this one is also based on concept art for Fallout 4, and I have no clue as to why they chose the ugly pipe revolver over this one, because the Handmade Revolver looks much better than its vanilla counterpart, but it will have these same animations. It's got similar attachments too, but with this one, you can convert it into a shotgun or even a rifle. Not sure how this piece of junk can handle the power of a 12 gauge, but it just works. Don't ask questions here, unless you're asking where to find it. In that case, you'll be able to find this gun naturally through the leveled list. I should also note that you can install the Crude Blowback and Handmade Revolver together with a mod pack called a Bundle of Tape. It includes several other lore-friendly weapons as a bonus. But now for something a little different. This is the RB13 Handmade Blaster. Don't ask me how it works. Some maniac put together some tin cans along with a microfusion cell and made it shoot balls of energy. Ingenious. Truly. It looks kind of like a toy, if anything, especially with that reload animation which slides in a battery. But hey, I can see this blaster belonging in Fallout. It looks like something the Children of Adam would craft up. In actuality, you'll find this angry tin can at the Adam Cat's garage. It's the only one in existence, so take care of it. You can't change it up too much though, there's just a few attachments, one of which will give you a gamma gun-like effect. That's pretty much it. It's simple and nothing flashy, but it does get the job done. Now onto the next one. You might be a little embarrassed though, because I found the PJAR. The PJAR Pistol, I mean. This makeshift pistol is essentially a handmade Luger, but chambered for 10mm, so it fits nicely into the wasteland. It comes with several attachments, but nothing too crazy. All you can do is improve the receiver, extend the magazine, and add on some muzzles. Everything else is cosmetic. It does have some nifty animations. I especially like the way he lifts his pinky so eloquently during the reload, like a gentleman among savages. The moving firing mechanism is quite a novelty to admire too. It's nice to see some moving parts, but on the downside, it will get in the way of your aim. That's just how the Luger was designed though, so props for being accurate. To obtain the PJAR, you must first drink a lot of water, and then... oh, sorry, wrong one. To get this pistol, you'll have to find a magazine just outside of Vault 111. After that, you'll then be able to craft your own at any chemistry station. And now, it's all yours. Nobody else will have one quite like it. But you know what's better than one pistol? 2 pistols, of course. And I'll give you a hint. It rhymes with Luger. Breaking into the number 10 spot are the Juger Pistols. Actually, I lied. It's pronounced Juger. Close enough though. I just thought that was a really good segue is all. Anyway, this mod adds in a pair of dual-wielding pistols, which is the first of its kind, I believe. They don't exactly work like dual-wielded pistols you may see in other games though. One press of the trigger will fire both weapons, but not simultaneously. The right one will fire first, then the left. If you click too fast, then only the right one will fire, so you have to time it just right. When you aim down sights, you'll focus only with the right pistol. Even though both pistols should technically have 16 rounds in each, you can fire all 32 through the right pistol only. As Todd always says, it just works. In all seriousness, it's got some functional quirks, but I can't blame the mod author too much because this is a technical limitation thanks to Bethesda. There's not too many modifications either, but overall, this is an awesome mod to toy around with. The Juger Pistols are one of a kind, so there's only one pair out in the wasteland. You'll find them just outside of Vault 95, inside of a bunker. So these pistols do look more refined than most on this list, and I can't say they are 100% handmade, but it does look like some parts were thrown together here. In the bunker is a note from the former owner which says the pistols were passed down from his grandfather, so maybe he's the one who made them. I don't know, they look handcrafted enough to me, and I just wanted an excuse to showcase this mod because there's nothing else quite like it. Moving on to number 9, this is the Skewer. It's a giant handmade harpoon launcher, and it looks like it's pneumatically powered, similarly to the Fat Man. Truly, an amazing design. Seriously, it's pretty awesome. The mod author actually got the inspiration for this weapon from the Skewer in Halo Infinite. It has a similar function, but this one is aesthetically different. Instead of looking futuristic, it looks like something you'd find at a junkyard. But of course, it fits perfectly into Fallout. After all, goofy heavy weapons are a key part of the Fallout franchise. The Skewer comes with a bunch of customization too, including different harpoon types which change its performance. There's barb skewers, which cause bleed damage, poison skewers, flechettes, which spit out a bunch of small spikes, explosive skewers, and even stim skewers, which you can use to heal allies. There's also a variety of unique skewers that you can find out in the Commonwealth. The Blue Tape Special knocks enemies to the ground and can be found at Big John's Salvage. The Hot Rod causes incendiary damage and is in possession of the Atom Cats. The JK-05 is a plasma-infused skewer, which is located at University Point. And Default's Metal Thrower is a semi-automatic skewer, which holds 5 harpoons in the magazine. You can find this one at the Mass Pike Interchange. And if you're curious, enemies can spawn with the skewer in their inventory, so watch out for flying harpoons. So overall, this is quite a cool mod. I really like the unique idea behind it, and it can be fun to use. Although it is a little gimmicky, I always appreciate heavy weapon mods because we surely don't have enough. In 8th place is the Cranky shotgun. No, it's not angry or upset, it's a revolving shotgun that you have to crank in order to use. Thus, the name, Cranky. Certainly a very primitive shotgun. It's basically just a pipe, a cylinder, and a stock put together, and it doesn't even automatically cycle, but that means it fits perfectly into the wasteland. In fact, this is yet another idea that was seen in Fallout's concept art, but now it has been brought to life, thanks to modders. There's not too many modifications for this one. All you can do is cut down the barrel, add on a sight, and a muzzle attachment. The best part about this mod, though, are the custom sounds and animations. You can tell your character has to really put in some effort to cycle this darn thing. It's stiff and rudimentary, but it does work, and it looks pretty cool. At least, the raiders seem to think so. And you'll find them carrying it from time to time. Overall, a very cool shotgun mod, and it makes for a great addition to the Commonwealth. The only issue is the lack of attachments, but for that, we have another mod. Number 7 is the Makeshift shotgun and Improvised grenade launcher. It uses the same models and textures seen on the Cranky shotgun, but this one is a single shot, and it uses the vanilla double barrel animations. What you see here, though, is a reanimation mod. Consider the Makeshift shotgun as an add-on to the Cranky shotgun, or vice versa. So the Makeshift shotgun hosts a bunch more unique functions, including an energy shotgun, a pipe musket, a grenade launcher, and even a nuke launcher. Nice. You can make all those conversions at the workbench, of course. You'll be able to find this weapon as loot, but it is handmade after all, so you can craft one at the chem station, along with the new ammo types, the explosive slug and the little feather nukes. So now, you have an early game weapon, which will be viable into the late game. This shotgun slash grenade launcher is as simple as it could possibly get. The amount of moving parts is very minimal, but it still looks pretty cool considering that it's just a rusty pipe. A very deadly pipe, might I add. Out of all the designs to make, I bet this one would have the best bang for its buck. I would say single-shot pipe shotguns would be fairly common in an apocalypse, so I'm just left wondering why Bethesda decided to leave this one out of the final game, because it would have for sure been a blast to use. Well, actually, it doesn't matter anymore, because modders already did their job. In the number 6 spot is yet another simple pipe design, the Handmade Anti-Material Rifle. Yes, that's correct, a pipe gun chambered in 50 BMG. I would say this is the deadliest weapon on this list. For the user, I mean, because it'd probably just blow up on your face. It's actually a great simplistic design though. It reminds me a lot of the PTRD anti-tank rifle. I'm just worried about the material quality on this one. Anyway, it doesn't just come in an AMR configuration though. You can convert it to use 308, or turn it into a shotgun and use 12 gauge, but if you really want the gun to blow up on you, then you might as well double down and use 50 caliber heavy explosive rounds. Good grief. That special ammunition is craftable at the chem station, by the way, but you can't actually craft the weapon itself. You'll have to go find it off of the gunners. The mod added in a bit of lore to justify the creation of this monstrosity. Simply put, the gunners needed a higher caliber weapon to deal with the increasing numbers of Brotherhood troops, and 50 BMG would do a pretty good job at taking out power armor. Thus, the Handmade Anti-Material Rifle was born. So I may have to take back what I said earlier. I'm hoping the gunners know how to make a dependable weapon, but still, if this were real life, I'd rather fire this thing with a string from at least 20 feet away. But anyway, the Handmade Anti-Material Rifle is crude and nasty, but also really badass looking. It's easily one of my favorite looking handmade weapons, and it's super fun to use too. If you're looking for a handmade sniper, then you definitely need to try this one out. Keeping with the theme of pipes, number 5 is the defense gun. Although it's not a replica, this pipe gun looks to be a combination of both the Sten gun and the MP18. You can make it look like either one with its wide variety of attachments. There's barrels, stocks, muzzles, bayonets, sights, magazines, conversion kits, you name it. The defense gun has it all. Out of all the weapons on this list, I think this one has the most amount of customization, so that's definitely its strong suit. The only part it's missing are custom animations. It uses vanilla pipe gun animations instead. To be fair, they do fit pretty well. The defense gun is integrated into the leveled list, and it greatly increases your immersion, because this gun is most definitely lore friendly, and perhaps the best alternative to the vanilla pipe guns. There is another mod which uses the defense gun to completely replace the pipe guns, so if you don't like those, but want something similar and better in every aspect, then you'll definitely want to download the Defense Gun mod. After all, handmade pipe guns like this would for sure prop up in an apocalypse, because they are easy and cheap to make and maintain, while still being deadly and reliable. The Defense Gun specifically is easily one of the best pipe gun mods for Fallout 4. Moving back to rifles now, this is the Select Marksman rifle. This one boasts a completely unique design. Nothing like it has been seen in real life nor the Fallout franchise, but it was made to fit the Fallout aesthetic. And like several guns seen in Fallout, it's got an interesting design quirk. That is the magazine and feeding mechanism. I don't know how to explain it really, just take a look for yourself. I've never seen anything quite like that, but it looks like it would work to me, probably. Anyway, there's quite a lot of attachments for this one. Magazines, barrels, muzzles, scopes, paints, and finishes, and even an option to convert it to 50 caliber. To actually get the weapon, you'll have to pick it up from a house just outside of the glowing sea. It's upstairs, just hanging on the wall, and once you pick it up, a cool animation will play. I'm not sure who left it there. It looks like it's been chilling there for years probably, and now it's all yours. It's one of the more refined guns on this list, but it does look like something an expert gunsmith would craft in the garage. And now, you can do the same too. At any chem station, you can replicate this gun and mass produce it if you'd like. No license needed. So overall, it's a great mod, and it really stands out with its unique design. In a similar vein is the Select Assault Rifle, which takes third place. It follows a similar design to the AR-15, but it's a homemade version. This exact model was seen in Fallout 76. It was a skin for the handmade rifle called the Screaming Eagle. The only problem though was that it used the same exact animations as the handmade rifle, which didn't quite fit. In Fallout 4 though, the Select Fire Assault Rifle mod is a unique standalone weapon which has custom animations, and much more. There's plenty of customization to go around. Stocks, barrels, muzzles, magazines, sights, paint jobs, and even different receivers which will change your ammo type, or firing mode. You can now switch between full auto, burst fire, and single fire. That's probably why it's called the Select Assault Rifle. Very accurate description. Burst fire turned out being much smoother than I expected. Unlike most games where it forces you to wait a set amount of time in between each burst, for this one, you can spam the trigger as much as you want. It makes the rifle feel smooth, responsive, and more realistic. Although, it doesn't quite look the part. Seriously, this gun belongs in the Uncanny Valley section of AR-15s. It's almost there, but not quite, so it's cursed in a way. It's not necessarily a bad thing though. I can appreciate the design because, after all, it's supposed to be a handmade weapon. You can't make it yourself just yet though. You have to travel to the South Boston military checkpoint first. There's a newly added bunker, and at the end of it is the rifle in question. I'm not sure exactly why it would be locked up here because it certainly doesn't look like a pre-war rifle. If anything, I'm guessing the gunners made it and then stored it in the bunker. And it looks like whoever made it from memory rather than a blueprint, but they did a pretty decent job overall. In the US of all places, I'd expect to see way more handmade Armalite type rifles rather than the AK we see in Nuka World. So I'm glad to have this mod here in Fallout 4. It only further immerses us into the gritty wasteland that we call the Commonwealth. Now for something truly crude. Second place belongs to the Zap Gun, a makeshift laser weapon. It's so makeshift, in fact, that it can be made from a toaster, steel scrap, and spare wood. Just slap a microfusion cell in between, and you're golden. It's probably a bit more complicated than that, but that's the gist of it, really. The Zap Gun comes with a wide variety of attachments. Most importantly are the barrel types. Those will change the function of the gun entirely. You'll be able to switch between bolt action, semi-auto, full auto, or even one that turns it into a pocket flamethrower. There's also an option to convert the magazine into a fusion core, which greatly increases your magazine capacity, but reduces your damage as a result. Yeah, so there's plenty of different builds you can make with the Zap Gun, and that's the coolest part about this mod. It'll also be integrated into the leveled list, so you'll find raiders and other NPCs using it. It definitely makes for quite the immersive addition. It's nice to see a handmade laser weapon, because you'd think at least one wastelander would get the bright idea to make one. Well, according to the lore added in by this mod, a prototype version was made only a couple months after the nukes dropped, but it was confiscated by the government while they were still trying to maintain order. It's locked away at the BAD TFL offices. Make sure to pick it up, because it's one heck of a good time. It has a unique effect which launches out little orbs of energy that'll blast your enemies off their feet. It's honestly kind of overpowered, but super fun to use. So the Zap Gun's got custom animations, lots of customization, and it boasts one heck of a fantastic and creative design. Without a doubt, it's one of the best handmade weapon mods for Fallout 4. But now, for the best handmade gun mod of all time. First place goes to America's worst, the Tomacuzi 9. This gun is god-awful. It's disgusting, vile, and cursed. It's an amalgamation of a Thompson, Uzi, and Tech 9. It's a mutated beast that needs to be put down. But that's why it's the top spot on this list. Allow me to explain. The overall design of this weapon is impeccable. It's a beautiful abomination. And you have to admit, this gun just screams Fallout. I'm sure at some point a raider would take parts from different guns and just fuse them together. You might as well make use of that scrap. You can't just let it go to waste. The animations are high quality too. The best on this list, in my opinion. It's got a solid amount of attachments as well. There's options for receivers, stocks, magazines, sights, muzzles, paint jobs, a flashlight even, which you just strap over the barrel, and the option to change the firing mode. The best attachment is easily the bottle suppressor. Now that is handmade, and it would work for probably like 1 or 2 shots, but we don't talk about that. That's not everything though. There's unique attachments and skins which can only be unlocked through the unique variants. There's 3 in total. The tomacuzi, it's got a shoe as a stock. Lovely. The tomacuzi, it's you know, it looks normal kind of, and the tomacuzi, it's just completely wrapped in blue duct tape. I love it. You can probably guess which one's my favorite. To obtain the uniques, you'll have to travel to the Mystic Pines old folks home in Lexington. You'll have to take this lady out and loot her body. After reading the letter, the mod will give you options to inject the tomacuzi into the leveled list, and then it'll send you on a short journey to uncover the legendary variants. In every aspect, this mod is awesome, yet also awful. I despise it, but can't get enough. And I have to give credit where credit is due. The tomacuzi has great textures, animations, attachments, implementation, and it's simply an awesome and unique idea which was executed with expertise. And all of that makes the tomacuzi the best handmade weapon mod for all of Fallout 4. But this is my list after all. I'm definitely interested in what y'all think. Let me know how you would have ranked the list. If there's any mods that I missed, leave a link down below, and I'll have to check them out. Anyway, that's all I got for now. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, then make sure to trash compact that like button. And subscribe if you want to see more videos, just like this one. My next video will be the mods of the month for November, so stay tuned and hit the bell icon to stay updated. And I'll see y'all in the next video.